All right, so this will be episode 1 of Devil's Advocate. And basically how Devil's Advocate works is that we'll be talking about an issue, and we both of us just can't be on the same side. We each have to have a conflicting viewpoint. One of us may defend the issue, one of us may be attacking the issue, but hence one of us will be playing Devil's Advocate. So I figured that we'd start this whole genre of videos with an issue that came up yesterday, and it's the issue of cockblocking. Very specifically, what is the definition of cockblocking? I, yesterday, as innocent and as trusting as I am, and I look, was accused of cockblocking. And I was very offended by such accusation because it bears no truth. The truth does not hurt. The only truth
does hurt.
No, not when it's lies. This was a bold-faced lie. I have not cockblocked him or ever have cockblocked anyone ever. I'm like, what? The best wingman ever. Now, the scenario for the cockblock is what made it even worse. Do you want to give him a recap of what this said cockblocking scenario was?
Look, before we even get into this scenario of what the cockblocking situation was, and let me clarify what you're talking about yesterday.
Talking about yesterday, the accusation to my character.
Yeah, I remember making the accusation yesterday.
The slander that was said to my character yesterday.
And remind me
again. Wow. Wow. Essentially,
look,
I was talking about how every time we go out, this guy always sees the ladies quite popular, but he said that was not his reality anymore because I've been cockblocking him as of late.
Of course,
and he mentioned the situation of a young lady that was on one of our sets. Now, let me tell you what the rule is. Most guys know guy code, and the rule of dibs is if I bring a girl around, that means I get dibs. And until I'm like, yo, I'm not about that, or that's just a friend, then you can't say that that's an opportunity for you and I was cockblocking. How's that cockblocking? I brought the girl around, so I get dibs. If I tell you, step back a little bit, you get a little too familiar with her, you don't know her like that, that's not cockblocking. That's called protecting my investment that I made, protecting my interests.
Interesting.
Yes.
Your view on the young ladies, given what you just said, is illuminating.
Yes.
Given that they are
ladies.
They're your investments at this point.
Investments.
But we'll leave that alone for now. Now, in this scenario, what occurred was a very casual, friendly conversation between myself and the young lady. Now, the fact of the matter is, I'm a friendly individual. I have conversations with people. And in this scenario, we happen to hit it off on a number of topics. And it just so happened in the context of this conversation, there was some light, little playful touching that might have happened. Like a little, caress or something. It happens in the course of conversation. That's natural behavior. Now, eyeing this as he was, because he had the eagle eyes on the situation.
Watching.
A little too close. He seemed to feel the need to let me know that I was being too familiar.
Too familiar. Way too familiar.
And I needed to back off. Now, mind you, at this time, I had no intention of trying to create some type of intimate situation with the young lady. I was merely being friendly. However, the extreme response that you took prompted me to say, wait a second. Let me go back through my mental Rolodex. This is a situation that I feel is familiar. Where Lou feels overly sensitive. Thus, taking steps to try to prevent and or block any future type of communication.
Gotcha.
So that's the nature of the story.
Where is if you yourself have said, Your Honor, let the record show, can we run those the words back? You yourself said you had no interest in her. So how is that cock blocking? You nor your cock had any interest, so there was no blockage happening.
See, so
you're using that word wrong. You're using it wrong. So that's what. Yeah.
No. Because you had no idea what my interest was or was not.
Oh, absolutely.
You were only interested in the fact that here's two people who are getting along on my set, and it's my girl that I brought around.
Don't say it like that, because people don't know that that's not what happened. I was not like over there being like,
therefore,
please.
Therefore,
Tell the story the right way.
I'm telling the story as it is.
Tell it the right way.
I'm telling
the way
you
you're telling it right now makes me sound like I'm over here like some hunchback who doesn't get girls in his tower just watching envious. I'm like, he steals another lady of mine. No. What happened is, you know the cardinal rule. You know
you reference this cardinal rule.
That's dibs. Then there's guy code. And on top of that, you had no interest in her. I didn't need you to tell me that. I know because the type of girl that she is not your type. You have blatantly always said that those girls of that color hue are not your type. So therefore, it's safe to assume that it's not. Yeah, that color hue. That is correct.
Let the record state that I'm an equal opportunity when it comes
you're not.
To the women that interact with.
Absolutely not. That is a bold-faced lie.
Look.
That's bold-faced. You're equal.
Bold-faced?
Go back. Let's go back. Let's do the ghost of booty pass. The ghost of booty pass. And just take a look. And just give me the color spectrum. Here, we can use me as a color spectrum. Tell me when you've ended on you've ever gotten to this side of the color spectrum? I feel like you're always here. You're always around this area.
While there may be a certain preference that I have, and that's fine. I think we all have preferences, and that's good to have preferences.
Absolutely.
You know what it is that you gravitate more closely to. However, to automatically and definitively state that I have no interest in a particular person based on their color hue, as you stated, is incorrect, and I would challenge it to be discriminatory.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is very discriminatory.
And I'm not that. I'm not.
Wow.
I'm a lot of things, but that I'm not.
Check to make sure we're still speeding.
Please do. Please do.
We are still speeding. Let's stop it right here. Re-speed. Alright, get a snap.
So, again, in this scenario, one of the clearest things that I find to be most telling is the fact that even on mention of his behavior and it being described as blocking, which it was
not.
You immediately
it was definitely not blocking.
Went 0 to 100 real quick.
Yes.
As far as being hyper defensive, and I think we all know that when you poke someone in a sensitive spot, one in which they feel a certain vulnerability, there's an immediate visceral reaction, which we saw with your response.
No, they're not. There's sometimes when people make certain accusations, and plus it was with a group of people we don't know. Like new friends being made, new friendships being forged. That is not this bold accusation. And you guys see, it was as aggressive. The attack that's what the defense was. It wasn't like you're like, oh yeah, by the way, Lou is a cock block, so blah blah. And that was like, It was like you came out the gate. Oh, it's because you cock blocking. And I was like, oh, I have to match that intensity, or else it's gonna make me look like a punk bitch. And I ain't no punk bitch. And I was like, look, first of all, even the story you're telling right now, that is still not cock blocking. That is still not. You talked to her just fine. You sat with her the whole time. I said nothing. I did nothing. I talked to you after the matter, and I brought that issue up. Not during. There was no cock blocking happening. To be a cock block, if I had come and separated you guys, or made a scene, or said something to draw attention to that, the vibe
was very, very
clear. That's what you're going on? The vibe. That is not cock blocking. For me to tell you something after the fact and be like, hey, by the way, you know the rules, what you did with Ryan, then you'd be like, wait, what are you talking about? What? I just showed him photo evidence. I'm actually going to cut to the picture. Look at where this hand is. I got to show him the picture. Look where the hand. There is nothing friendly about that hand action.
That is definitely friendly.
That is aggressive.
That's a friendly hand
action.
No. Look, I can show you aggressive hand action.
That is good.
Right,
whoa.
Aggressive hand action.
Pause.
Aggressive hand action.
You don't know that.
I could show.
He's talking on himself.
I could show,
if anything.
Show her some aggressive hand action. What I'm saying is, that was not aggressive. That was merely a friendly group picture that was taken. And I think, look, the larger issue here that I think we need to address ultimately is, hey, in this scenario, if you have a level of interest in a certain young lady, you shouldn't let me or anyone else keep you from taking steps towards that by going
that's not what we're talking about. There was no
but I think that is what we're talking about.
To take any steps towards it.
I think that might be what we're talking about.
The issue we're talking about is cock blocking. And there was no cock blocking happening because your cock was not making any moves. So then there was no need to block it at all. No moves were being made. And if anything, nothing was said at the moment. And by the way, let's point out that you said this as if it was something that habitually happens. And I was like, I'm sorry. When does that ever happen? That scenario was a weak example to be like, nothing happened, nothing was drawn.
Dibs.
Yeah.
That you so clearly proclaim to be common knowledge.
Yes, it is common knowledge, but that's also just being polite.
Is one that you have raised on several occasions.
When else?
Yeah. With a certain young lady who has some aquatic interests, perhaps.
No, not at all. Not at all.
No, not at all.
No,
not at all.
If anything,
so there was
I knew that was
so
right up your alley,
no
and I clearly remember saying like, "Oh, this is one of your girls."
So there's
so you go ahead and you holler at that, and you're like, "Oh, I'm no, Lou. You don't know me. That's not."
There was no reference made to that's Dibs, that's me. Watch out. That was never stated.
I don't think so. I don't remember.
So.
I don't recall, Your Honor.
You don't recall.
I don't recall. And even if it was, how is that cockblocking? If you want to talk about dibs, that is a completely different issue. We are talking about cockblocking right now. And from your story, that is not cockblocking. There has never been any situations of cockblocking. Never have you been chatting up a girl and I came through and I made it up. I got wedged in the way or stopped or said something insulting to you or tried to create some kind of division or diversion or whatever you want to say. That's never happened. So cockblocking, nah. That does not count.
You want it to be shown that you have never done such actions and therefore you are not a blocker.
I am not a blocker. Sense. Correct. In the definition of the word cockblocking, yes. I am not a blocker.
In the traditional sense where we can look at, a physical interjection, perhaps not. Perhaps not.
Yes.
And again, I will grant you that. I will cede the ground in that sense.
All right.
However, there are some other questionable things to be considered.
Well, then that's a whole nother discussion. That right there is another discussion. So as far as cockblocking goes, acquitted. I
don't know if we can say that so thoroughly.
Acquitted.
I mean, perhaps
lack of evidence.
Like a hung
Your
jury,
Honor,
I feel like it's more like a hung jury.
Hung jury.
Hung jury situation.
No, that story is not a cockblock story. Acquitted, Your Honor. Thank you.
Look,
the alleged cockblock has not been proven. Now, if you want to talk about dibs, that is a completely different issue.
Now, the thing about it is, if you want to talk about dibs, I mean, the truth of the matter is, the only thing that really says dibs.
Wait, we gotta save dibs for another issue. Thank you guys for watching. First episode, correct, of Devil's Advocate. Thank you very much. As you can see, I was acquitted, and so was my client, the devil. Next time, guys, we'll tune in for the next.
That's not what happened. They just watched what happened, and that wasn't it. So
I think I was acquitted.
Didn't happen.
Thanks for tuning in, guys, and until the next one.
He wasn't acquitted.
Acquitted.